one of consulting's wisest and really most successful sages, Mr. Al Sagarese, who is going to strip away all the preconceptions. He's going to debunk the myths and take us into the very real and unvarnished, honest journey into consulting. Al has served as really one of the driving forces for the Institute of Management Consultants. He's the president of Forrestal Consulting International, and he's an internationally known expert.
I worked for 3 major companies, Singer, Triangle, and City Service, all in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And I was fortunate enough to be in very high positions, and I had access to people that are old enough to be my father, so I could ask any question I wanted. The first thing he should try, or she should try, to leverage their practical experience.
Okay.
Now, mine has been all B2B in the industrial environment. And I also began to realize that an MBA would be very nice to have, so I went to night school.
Al, now you talked about when you were with Triangle Building Products, how you deliberately honed your interviewing skills. I mean, I can see why a journalist needs to hone his interviewing skills, but why is it so vital for a consultant?
Well, just to put it in perspective, the kind of work that Forrestal does is providing strategic knowledge to our clients through field research.
Okay.
Even consultants that work internal to a company, evaluating the products, there is also critical to be able to interview the employees to gain the knowledge.
Okay,
So that's a fundamental basis of consulting. The difference between an internal consultant, someone working within the company,
Sure.
and an external organization like Forrestal, we have to sell our way into the interview.
Yeah.
And we do that by starting from a position of strength, either secondary research, interviews with lesser important companies, eventually working our way up to the top. I came to City Service R&D Company because of my background in metals, which I learned at Triangle Building Products Company.
Okay.
So I was hired to help build up the first acquisition that City Service made in the metals business. Now, all of my bosses were either chemical engineers or chemical process engineers. So they didn't really have a thorough understanding of metals business. So I just made the analysis, wrote my reports, told the facts, and they just loved it. How did I get into consulting? I had a job with City Service, Research and Development, which is over here in Cranberry. And I was rather successful doing the market studies and business planning studies, but the position began to fall apart. So I arranged a meeting to meet with Dr. Howard Malikoff, who was the president.
Right.
You know, he was a guy you had to call him Doc. You couldn't get very close to him at all. So I arranged a meeting, and I said, Doc, I know you like my work. He told me that when I presented my study findings. I have an offer from a management consulting firm, an old line management consulting. And he said, Al, we like your work, but you should take the job. Really? Yeah. And he says, because we're closing this facility in 6 weeks.
All right.
Yeah. So that was the most confidential conversation I've ever had.
Wow.
So I took the job. So that's how I got into consulting. At Stevenson, Jordan, and Harrison, which is an old line firm founded in 1916, before Gantt invented the Gantt chart, if you will. I had worked with a small division within this large corporation. And Ted Jube, who was the president, he and I buddied up because he would always say, Al has this uncanny ability to look at a situation and come to the heart of the matter almost immediately. So it's just kind of...
So you're really good at distilling.
Yeah, like on the spot. Yeah, and as I grew into consulting, I took more of a risk doing that uncanny ability to come to the right decisions, okay? I would say 99 out of 100 times I was right.
Well, there you go.
And the other aspect is Frode Nordhoy, who is the founder of strategic analysis.
Right.
He always said I was highly motivated as a self-starter, and I have a high degree of stick-to-itness. Our practice is engineering-based with a market overview.
Right.
So that gives the mechanical engineers, the chemical engineers, the civil engineers that work for the firm credibility to talk about business issues. Well, it happened 4:45 on a Friday afternoon. I got a telephone call from the president and the controller saying, Al, we're closing the office in 5 minutes. And I said, no way, guys. Of course, I used an expletive. No way. I have clients actively ongoing.
They didn't mean close it for the weekend, did they?
No, they did not.
Oh, geez.
So they said, keep the clients, keep the computer, keep the fax machine, keep the desk, keep the files, keep the money that you collect. Just don't use the Technomic name to promote business. So on Monday morning, I was on my own.
Wow.
They walked away. So I was an entrepreneur, but didn't even know that. I didn't know that word probably for another 5 years.
How did you go about it? How should we go about leveraging the trust from past clients that you have?
Technomic closed the office, which was at the direction of Renaissance, the company that acquired them the year before. The Princeton office, which I ran, was dissolved, and I had no non-compete agreement.
Oh.
So I was, the following Monday, the telephone rings, and it's my client, Jim Sopranos at Amstead, and said, Al, you know that proposal that you have? We want to go forward. I said, well, Jim, I'm no longer with my former firm. He said, that's okay, just reprint it on your own letterhead and it's a go. As long as Dietmar Scheffler is still around to do the work. He was our German-speaking staff based in Geneva, Switzerland. That's another story of success.
Right.
Live by the objectives, live by the budget, and both money and time, and the clients will love it.
How can they get a hold of you?
The easiest way is to look at our website,
What's
which
that?
is forrestalconsultant.com. The other is to call me at the office, 609-951-2285. And if you're interested in some really tough assignments, look at Forrestal on our YouTube and you'll get an education.